Welcome to Pod and Long. I'm your host, Ryan. It's great to have you with us. I'm here with my co-host, the Word of Drew.
Hey, what's up?
I'm also here with my returning other co-host. He's back, baby. It's Megastar Mark. Back off by.
Yes, I'm off. I'm back. I'm ready to go.
It seems like you're more hurt. It seems like you're more hurt than when you left.
Running on fumes. I am amazed that I'm functional here. But I got the inside scoop on the Buffalo Bills from former WCW World Champion Lex Luger, who I had a very long conversation with at New York Comic-Con.
What's Luger's hottest take on the Bills?
The Bills should run more, which is, you know what?
You love that.
Listen to this podcast because
Luger.
That's what I've been saying.
Thank you,
Luger,
Lex.
fan of the people.
Maybe he should take over for offensive coordinating.
Listen, he was in the same locker room as Reggie White when they were at the Memphis Showboats together. That is such a
I was just going to say, with the Memphis Showboats.
Right, and Ron Simmons was also there, who also at Comic-Con, by the way, Farouk, like 3 spots down, and I found out later they were all on the Memphis Showboats team. That's
what a stat.
Strange. Yeah.
Stat of the day.
Led by Pepper Johnson and his hot dog party.
Wow.
Great quote out of context.
In that room, we always talk about there's a USFL highlight film. That's what Drew is referencing there. And in that room, Reggie White, Lex Luger, Ron Simmons all had to hear that speech.
Mark, I'm curious because I know obviously you went and met Lex Luger and talked with him about wrestling. Yep. Talked with him about the Bills. Yep. More or less excited than the time you met John Rhys Davies and you were the only one who wanted to talk about sliders.
John Rhys Davies was more excited to talk about sliders than Lex Luger, I think, was ready to talk about the Bills. He was just happy somebody remembered that. So, no, I don't have to answer a Gimli question for like the 300th time today. That's fantastic. Talk to this nerd about fucking Jerry O'Connell.
Good old Jerry. I just want to give a quick shout out to Mr. Mike, who was on last week in relief of you, Megastar Mark. He did a wonderful job on the show and a wonderful job jinxing his own team after he paraded around, rubbing our faces in the dirt, talking about the 49ers. His 49ers go out and, blow it against the Browns.
Speaking of wrestling heels, Mike is a wonderful heel.
He's a wonderful heel. Yeah, the first thing he said when we started the show was like, what's it like being terrible? Like, this is great being the best. Like, fuck you, Mike. All right.
I enjoyed it.
Category I. What? Big one this week. Upset City. The Browns, the Fighting Elves, defeat the 49ers in a weird game.
Gross.
There is no team in the league that I understand less than the Browns.
Yeah. Right. I read somewhere that their defense has allowed the least amount of yards ever for the first first 6 weeks. That's insane.
Only 1,000 yards given up so far. That's it.
It's almost like the attention on that team was diverted to a much larger issue.
I know. Weird, right?
It's almost like they're better when Deshaun's out.
Yeah. I love Jim Schwartz on this team because he's such a dick.
He's the worst. He's
just like it fits this whole team's MO so well to have him as the defensive coordinator.
I find it funny. He wasn't the Browns head coach, right? He was the Lions head coach.
Correct.
But I always find it funny when like a coordinator returns. Like who's the guy in Denver? He was the
Vance
coach.
Joseph. Yeah.
Vance Joseph was their coach, and now he's back as a demoted D
and their fans hate him.
Yeah. I always find that one funny. So Browns beat the 49ers. 49ers lost everybody.
I know.
They all got hurt. Brock Purdy looked normal.
Yeah. But, I mean, from what I hear, the injuries maybe a couple of weeks. There's even rumors that they all could be back this week. That's not likely. But, I mean, I think that it's the fact that it's not long-term, the Niners will be fine. This is definitely an outlier.
And the only thing I found interesting was prior to this game being played in a couple of different pregame shows on Sunday, the various talking heads, complete with graphics on the screen, were asking, is Brock Purdy an elite quarterback? And I went, oh God, here's the ghost of Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
He's going to haunt Brock Purdy for the next 12 weeks.
Hashtag elite.
Yeah.
My God.
First of all, the answer is no. And I like Brock Purdy, but the answer is no. But second of all, here comes Joe Flacco.
Yep.
So he lost McCaffrey, which is a lot of what they do, and Deebo Samuel has been less so what they do, but he still has Kittle and Ayuk. It's not like he's my team, Adam Thielen and a bag of bolts.
Yeah.
Like, he still has skill positions out there, and they still should have won this game. I mean, we're gonna crap on them, but
they had a chance. I mean, right?
Chance to miss the field goal.
Right.
Yeah, George Kittle torpedoed my fantasy team by having all of like one catch for 6 yards. He's been remarkably, infuriatingly inconsistent this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And shout out to PJ Walker, who did nothing but still won this game.
Former Carolina Panther.
Yes, that's right.
PJ Walker.
Man,
my guy, PJ Walker.
They're just these former Carolina quarterbacks just stacking wins here.
But now that he's hurt, you're so glad you traded Christian McCaffrey for that 2nd round pick.
No, I'm still upset about it. Oh, he's still scored in like 15 straight games.
Yeah,
since he got traded, but
he'll be okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The 49ers will be fine. I mean, whatever. The Browns have a very good defense.
Yep,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Apparently, we don't really know what the Browns are made of.
Yeah, they're very
about the Browns.
Yeah, I can't get a beat on them.
There's this rumor going around that something's up with Deshaun Watson. He's not actually hurt. I don't know what that's about. He doesn't want to
play or something. Yeah,
there's something up with something going on there, and the story will come out soon. Don't know if it's true or not.
I just heard that he was like
something's weird.
They're trying to force him to play, and he says, "No, I'm not ready." I heard that's like the crux of this. Which is.
What's his impetus to play? His money's guaranteed.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's what happens when you're a dumbass and give him a contract like that.
Well, there you go. The 49ers fall. And then, what? The Jets.
Jets.
Beat the Eagles. Now, we've been talking about this for, 6 weeks, that the Eagles don't seem right. Something's wrong. They're undefeated, but something's up. And they put all of that out there on Sunday at 4 o'clock. They showed all of those flaws and all those concerns. And then the Jets defense is still good.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach Wilson didn't need to do much. And Breece Hall's
key
good.
To the whole Jets season. Yeah. Zach Wilson shouldn't do much.
Yeah.
Honestly, it does. As stupid as this sounds, because it sounds like I'm talking about the Force or some shit. Like, it does seem like Zach Wilson is better when Aaron Rodgers is in the building.
Yeah,
there's no tangible excuse for that, but it does seem like that's the common thread now. Better is that he didn't turn the ball over, but that Jets defense is legit. If you screw around against them, they will make you pay. Yeah. And I saw today that the Eagles have tried to remedy all their problems by signing Julio Jones off the street, which feels like you're fixing a problem you don't have.
Right.
That's odd.
4 years since he's been relevant. Here comes Julio Jones.
He's burned. Yeah.
I can tell you, look, a really quick story. As we mentioned earlier, I was at New York Comic Con for the last
with Lex Luger.
With Lex Luger. And Lex and I were LL. That's what I call him. We were chatting a little bit, and it was at the end. We were breaking down everything, breaking down the booth, and there was this like roar that came from the loading dock where the union workers of New York were watching the Jets game and had it end.
Nice.
So that's how I knew that game was done. I was like, oh, that's fucking great.
It was also how you knew the outcome of that game.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It was a very but it was like a swelling roar that came from the loading dock. It was pretty fun.
That's amazing.
Jets defense, fucking great. I mean, we said that all year, though. I don't think that's ever been in debate. Anybody who says otherwise is an idiot. They've always been extremely good. And if they can keep doing this and relying on the run game, there's no reason this team can't make the playoffs.
And yet they're relying on their run game without Dalvin Cook. Which, I mean, hey, win games however you win games. But it's like they went to a lot of trouble to get him, and it doesn't seem like they need him or particularly want him.
I thought that was a stupid move, honestly, when they got him. I thought, because they already had Breece Hall, and they had some good young running backs behind him. Like, what was it, Zonovan's Knight, I think his name is?
Yeah, right? Michael Carter. Carter.
There's talent there. I didn't think they needed to spend the money. I mean, you have the money. I guess if you're under the salary cap, who cares? But, like, he's not been nearly as effective as these other guys. And I think Breece Hall is going to, vulture a lot of these carries moving forward as he gets stronger, for coming back from injury.
Had to dump Dalvin Cook off my fantasy team. As you can tell, it's been a poor fantasy year for me.
He is definitely
He's on mine as well.
Cook running back in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true. The Jets had both starting cornerbacks out for this game and still were able to shut down the Eagles.
Yeah.
Didn't matter. I think the Eagles will rebound probably as soon as this week because this is like kind of a slap in the face. And this Eagles team is good. Obviously, they're obviously last year proved that. They're home now. I feel like there is a good, strong chance they rebound, but maybe you need this. I don't know. You know how that seems weird, but like sometimes this wakes you up. So maybe this was needed for that team.
How about the fact that the Jets had never beaten the Eagles? Did you see that stat?
I couldn't have told you that until I saw it.
Right.
It was 12-0. The Jets had never beaten the Eagles in the entire history of their. I mean, it's weird that they've only faced each other 12 times. Is that a Kelly Green versus Kelly Green thing? Like we can't put two colors on the field like that?
I wonder how many, if there's any other than like the Texans or the Jaguars or like relatively quote unquote like newer teams. Like, is there another team that's been around since the 60s who hasn't beaten another team that's been around since the 60s?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
I would doubt it.
Yeah, me too.
And they've both been around since the 60s and they've only played each other 12 times. That seems very odd.
No, I can believe that. Like, I can see that.
Yeah, and also remember, they wouldn't have played each other until after the merger.
Yeah,
right.
So that, they've both been around since the 60s, but they weren't in the same league until 70.
Right. And then you rotated the divisions. I could see that it was not that much, but I don't know.
Right.
That I was shocked that they had just never won.
Right.
Very
bizarre.
Right. There's some bad Eagles teams out there.
That's true. There have been. How about this, though? How about this weird thing about the Jets?
The end zone this way Eagles. Sorry, had to bring them up. Those are my favorite ones. Like the Coy Detmer end zone this way Eagles.
Coy Detmer.
Yep.
Oh, the 95. What was that? After Rodney Peete? When did Rodney Peete leave?
I think it was
96 Eagles.
It was
the 96 Eagles are really bad.
The end zone this way Eagles were like 2000. 99. It was just before they got McNabb.
Okay, the year before they got McNabb.
Yeah,
okay. Coy Detmer. Holy moly.
I think both Detmer brothers at varying points.
Yeah. Ty played.
Wow.
Cool.
Both of them.
One of whom Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh God.
Guess it's not Coy.
No, it wasn't Coy. Man. What else was I going to say? Aaron Rodgers out on the field throwing balls with his repaired Achilles. You think we're going to see him again?
No.
Not this season.
No,
I think he thinks so, but
he even came out today and said, like, calm the fuck down, everybody. It's just like, it's calm down.
I was just kind of tossing around.
Yeah, right.
There. All right. Eagles lost Lane Johnson. We'll see if he comes back. That's a bad injury.
Well, I mean, in the NFL, we talked about this before on this podcast. The lack of offensive line talent in the NFL is pretty stark, and he was one of the true elite tackles in the NFL.
Yeah. So
to lose him, that's bad. I mean, obviously it would be, but there's nobody even remotely close to his talent level on that team. So need some adjustment there. They can overcome it. I do think this Eagles team is fine.
They'll be fine.
Yeah.
I still think they're flawed and they're not as good as they were last year for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know who they're missing. That I'm not really sure who they lost. That is it CJ Gardner-Johnson? That's not. But the offense still doesn't look right either.
They solved their problem. They got Julio.
Everything's fine. All right. Final Watt game almost was an upset. The Bills barely defeat the New York Football Giants with Tyrod Taylor at the helm. A revenge game for Tyrod. Revenge game.
I love Ty God.
The Ty God out there. He's beloved, obviously, by the Bills. Everybody was dapping him up. But what was going on in this game? This was weird. I was watching it, and the first half ended with no Bills points, I think, right? So
they haven't looked right since they came back from fucking London. Like, and half the team got killed on that stupid ass grass that they have out there. Like the whole team.
When you were out there slashing tires.
Yeah. The thing is, too, people are saying like the Bills came into that game hurt. They did, but on defense. That has nothing to do with that offense. Right. Like that offense should have put up a shit ton of points.
That Giants defense still isn't very good.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. There's something off about them. They got to get back to the way. I think I harp on it all the time. Me and LL do. They really do need to commit back to the run early, not just pile it up late.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, I've said this to Drew since we were kids. A win is a win is a win is a win.
It's a good win. It's nice to get out of
there.
there.
I don't care how you get the wins, as long as they get the win. So whatever, but they obviously not impressive, to squeak by in this game.
Actually, I'm okay with this. Like, I feel like this is a good win for Buffalo. Like, you come back from the bad experience in London, you come back from the injuries in London, you see another teammate go to the hospital, and they still find a way to rally it and pull off a win against a team they should beat. Like, to me, there's more up than down here, given all the circumstances around it.
Yeah. Okay. And Damian, I hear, is fine from what
I've heard the same.
He is concussion, obviously won't play this week, but no damage to him, thank God. So
that's good. Yeah. Okay. I have two things to say about this game. First thing is there was a drive late in the second quarter, I want to say, when they ran Cook like 3 times in a row, and he got like 13 yards.
Yep.
9 yards, 8 yards. Like, what the fuck are we doing? And then he 2 incompletions, and then they punted. It's like, Cook has got it rolling. What are we doing here? Like, you can see it. Like, you are losing. Do the Nick Sirianni, DeAndre Swift move. Nothing's working. Just run the ball down their throats. It's working. They can't stop it. But no, they didn't do that.
Chicks dig the long ball, Ryan. Yeah. Haley Steinfeld's not going to stick around if they're not throwing it deep.
Haley Steinfeld.
She was there.
Better than Taylor Swift. She was there. Yeah, and then let's talk about our guy, Daboll Barr. This is the other thing I want to talk about.
Jesus Christ. He needs to calm the fuck down.
What in the world? Okay, so here's the situation. It's the end of the second quarter going into the half. They decide to not kick and try to go for it.
Right.
But instead they run the ball. And then of course the Bills just lay on the dude and let the time expire, and the time is up and they can't kick a field goal or do anything. And then Tyrod runs off and Daboll like slams the iPad again and yells at him, "Yo, motherfucker, you called the play. What are you doing? You called the run." That was so stupid. Why is that Tyrod's fault? I don't know what you're doing. He's like purple and slamming stuff. And my wife, who doesn't care about football at all, was like, he doesn't look well.
He doesn't look well.
He doesn't look well. I'm like, yeah, we make fun of him for turning purple all the time. But also, he's the guy who called the play. What the fuck?
I was driving home.
Of course they're going to lay on him.
Well, this game was going on from New York. And the first clip I saw when I loaded up my phone to check the score, the first thing I saw was the gif of him just screaming at Tyrod. And I'm like, and of course, at that point, I thought the Bills were up like 35-0. But
he's like, somebody get a needle and stab this guy in the lung so we can get another quarterback out here.
My God, he's got to calm down.
Brian Daboll clearly had a very productive Zoom meeting this week with Mario Cristobal.
Oh, God, the Cristobal boat. We're going to run it up the middle with Saquon Barkley off injury with no time left. Oh, yeah. God, why did we score?
This is everyone's fault but my own.
Yeah. What's wrong? You could have handed it off better, Tyrod.
Yeah, right.
What the fuck? Poor Tyrod Taylor. That guy's been through it.
He'll be fine. He doesn't have to buy. He never has to buy another drink in Buffalo for the rest of the
year. Yeah, right. He's good.
In like 12 NFL cities.
Yeah, right.
He said a 13-year career.
In Blacksburg, Virginia.
Right. I mean, they mentioned it on the actual broadcast, but he was the quarterback who broke the streak for the Bills.
Yeah.
The 17 years, it was him. It wasn't Josh Allen. It was him.
Right. Yeah. Wow. But the Bills pulled off some controversy at the end, but
I have a.
It's not worth talking about.
I'm going to talk about it.
All right,
let's talk about it real quick. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. So the first one I thought was bullshit because you don't call fucking. There's always jostling around. There's always on the last play. There's
to
always
make that call in the first place.
I thought that was bullshit. The second one, you're right. It was holding. He got him. That's totally accurate. Sucks, but at the same time,
sucks for you, Giants.
But I'm just saying that first play shouldn't have been in that situation. That happens all the fucking time, and you never see a flag get called. on that last play into it never gets called. So the fact that it did, and the fact that it was kind of ticky-tacky to me. I don't know. Sucks, bro.
Sucks for you. We're taking the win.
Yep.
I mean, the Giants stink. Come on.
They do.
The Giants absolutely stink. If they look this, like Tyrod Taylor is very conservative. Yes. He's like the most conservative player in the NFL. He will never take a chance. He wants to roll back those laws all the way back to the 1900s. Like, if this is the best you've got, Giants, you're not going anywhere. Like,
I think I saw, though, they said Daniel Jones should be back this week.
Yeah.
Because there was a chance he was going to play in this game, but didn't
I mean, you can't put him out there. I mean, the guy's getting killed. You can't put him out there.
Bills, like I said, they squeaked away with one, but they got to get better. So we'll see if that happens this week.
Hopefully, Haley Steinfeld will rally the circle the wagons.
She won't be there this week, though. She's only there for the home games. Yeah,
smart. All right.
Next category. She only travels to Buffalo.
Yes, LA to Buffalo. It's a direct flight.
Yeah, I bet.
I want to know more about this relationship. Can you dig up some more dirt on all the Steinfeld Allen?
Absolutely. I
mean, please.
That's the Avengers pipeline.
No, he's hanging an Avenger.
Yeah.
Adjacent.
She's the leader of the Young Avengers.
Is that what it is? Yeah. Okay. I do like her. I don't want to make fun of her. She's a good actress. All right. Mirror match. Category mirror match. The Cowboys, who choke on their own vomit, face the Chargers, who choke on their own vomit. And who will win?
Not where I thought you were going to go with that, but good. That's fun.
Step on their own dicks? Is that what you want?
We're not at the Michigan part of the show yet.
We're not there yet. We're not the Stripe Spiral yet. But yeah, 2 step on their dicks against each other. Mm-hmm. And then what will happen? One will step on their dick.
Yeah.
The Chargers. Chargers got a Charger. How? How are the Chargers this bad? I don't understand it.
They just love losing games like this. When the Cowboys gave them every chance to win this game.
Every chance.
Right. That's the most frustrating, I think, as a Chargers fan, is you had every opportunity to win this game. It should have gone the other way. The Cowboys played like absolute dog shit. But as I said, a win is a win. If you're the Cowboys, you got to be happy you got out of there.
I mean, barring the end, this was maybe the most boring NFL game that's happened. It was so boring.
This whole week had some boring games. This wasn't a very exciting week.
Like, Dak ran for a touchdown and then nothing happened until the fourth quarter.
For a while.
It was so boring.
Yep.
They got in a fight before the game. That was more exciting than the entire game.
I want more of that. I want more pregame fights.
Why are the Cowboys and Chargers fighting?
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't get it.
But we're going to talk about the Chargers fan, or is that going to be later?
Oh, she's on my list.
Okay, all right. I'll save it then.
She's on my list, but we can talk about it now. Chargers fan, just going through it. They did a wonderful job. This crew did a wonderful job on just finding this woman and just continually going back to her. And she's the only Chargers fan, as far as I'm concerned.
I love
she's the one.
It started because people are thinking to themselves, is this a plant? Because nobody can be that excited about the Chargers. I love that
hilarious.
Premise.
Nobody can actually care about the Chargers in LA. This is fake. She's not fake. She's a real person. She's a real person.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's so funny that this team moved from San Diego, which actually did give a fuck.
They cared about this team.
And now it's in a city that could not care less. I feel bad. I feel bad for San Diego. I hope they get a new UXSFL team or something. But
I heard a story about was it the Kellen Winslow game, and where he basically almost passed out in the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
People
Kellen
love
Winslow
that.
Senior for clarity's sake.
Right.
Yeah, not the FUBAR guy.
Not the FUBAR inducted.
The senior, just
soldier.
I've heard stories about that game from people San Diego fans being forever gonna love that guy and love this team, and they just fucking move away.
Philip Rivers teams were good too. I mean, there's nothing. I mean,
LaDainian Tomlinson,
right?
Yeah,
it was just greed. That's what it ended up being. It was
pure greed. Pure greed.
Yeah, Spanos greed.
So, and the city kind of called Spanos' bluff.
Yeah,
right. there's speculation that he never really wanted to leave San Diego. He just leveraged Los Angeles against them to try and get public money for a stadium, and they were like,
sure,
no. And suddenly he ends up playing in a soccer facility.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I really
that
do
was
hope,
a
though,
joke.
They're not going to get an NFL team because the NFL won't expand.
No,
but
never
I
have.
really do hope they get like a new whatever league,
US
whatever this
XFL?
becomes, because I feel like they could support it. I really do. I went on that before, but like you put one in San Diego, I think they'd be great. Yeah, I mean St. Louis has already got one. I think that'd be fun. I think that's how to do this.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know. By the way, not to get tangential, I know the NFL. Talking about the NFL not expanding. Did anybody see Roger Goodell said a London Super Bowl is not impossible?
Yeah.
Please stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Like, for what? For who?
Right.
Who's going to that? Who's spending the money on that?
I don't understand.
I'm sure the players will love to play on that field.
It's better than having. Yeah, right. The
Considering
players are all
there's
furious.
like 9 injuries in that Titans game we'll be talking about too on both sides.
Yeah.
That stupid field.
Oh my God. Speaking of that, we'll just Ryan Tannehill got hurt and couldn't get an X-ray because he couldn't walk to the other side to get the X-ray because it was on the other sideline.
Shit.
It's just a cart had to come get him to drive him to the other side. What the fuck?
A stadium that is just people ranted about it on both. All 6 teams who played in London all complained and all had massive injuries on all sides because of the stupid ass field.
That turf field is terrible.
Yeah, when something's worse than MetLife, like that's. It's time not to play there anymore.
Oh my God!
There's London has like 13 stadiums. Find another one.
The NFL has $40 bajillion. You telling me they can't put grass everywhere? Come on,
West Ham, go Hammers!
You could fly a grass field over. All right. What were we talking about? The Cowboys lost. Or the Cowboys won. Chargers lost. I still don't even know who won this game because it's just such a, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like both of these teams could have lost this game in the most spectacular of ways. But anyway,
America lost.
Yeah, we all lost. Chargers. This should have been a fun game, but it wasn't. It was just so bad.
It seems like we've had a lot of those this year where like on paper, like, oh yeah, this should be great. And then it ends up either like a blowout or just boring as fuck.
It was so bad.
The Chargers are the worst case scenario of the team that decides to go all in on like analytics and sabermetric stats. Like the Chargers are that dude in the room that when you have 9 out of 10 people who are like, yes, this is the thing we should do. There's that one guy in the back who goes, well, actually, that's the Chargers. The Chargers are the well, actually of the NFL, except they suck.
They're the one member of the jury duty. They're not voting for it. Like
they're the
we want to go home.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't believe it.
We got a continental breakfast, guys. The fuck are you want to go home for?
I hope this trial never ends.
Yeah.
Gave us $5.
Yeah.
See what's on the lunch menu today? Franks and beans.
Oh God.
Good reference, Drew.
All right. Next category is the ballad of the 2023 0-6 Carolina Panthers. They faced the Dolphins. Here's my story of this game. Ready? All right. Worked on Saturday. My wife picked up a basketball hoop for the children. So I said, okay, I'm going to put that together on Sunday morning before the game start. Well, that didn't happen because putting things together takes 10 times longer than they think it's going to. So I put this basketball hoop together. I go in to get a wrench. I need another wrench. Panthers are up 14-0. I literally stopped in my tracks and just went, there's no way that I just saw that. That can't be real. Waited for the scroll to come through. Like, it is real. There's no way this is going to last. Got a wrench, went back out. Several more hours of working on this fucking basketball hoop. Come back in, 42-21 or whatever it was. Like, okay, all right. The world is correct. Okay, Dolphins kill the Panthers. What do you want me to say? Of course they did. I saw several articles that said Bryce Young looked good in this game. How can you look good when you got murdered like that? But okay, fine. I'll take it. Frank Reich not having a good year. Articles saying he might be fired. Already, he might be fired. He gave up the play calling to Thomas Bryant, who people do like. So we'll see what happens there. it's bad. It's bad. The Dolphins are great. So I'm not surprised, but I'm looking forward to that week 10 against the Bears, baby. Can't wait.
Come on home, Frank. Come on home,
please.
Baby. We never hated you, Frank. We always loved you.
It's bad.
Come on
it's
home.
Bad.
It's I have to. We never started that rumor about you, Frank.
Yeah.
The rumor that we'll never discuss.
Oh, we can't.
No. Can't.
Panthers suck. Bryce Young's not very good.
Come on. I mean, anybody who saw
Dolphins are great.
You knew the Dolphins were going to kill them. Like, I mean,
of
it's
course.
not like this is a shock. It is a shock that they were up early, and that does.
It
sting
was shocking. I thought
Right.
something weird. I thought I had died and gone to heaven. It's like, okay, here you go.
But like, had it just been like 14-7, even, you would just be like, whatever. The Dolphins are going to win this game, and
That's exactly
right.
After my moment of euphoria. I was like, they're going to lose. Dolphins are really fucking good.
They are.
They are almost like they could be up 28-0, and you could still be like, yeah, they'll come back. They're going to come back.
Yeah.
Like what lead is safe? I mean, the Panthers defense is not bad.
Yeah,
I will say that most of their defense is pretty good.
It is,
but I mean, you can't.
You can just tell they were gassed though. Like they
got gassed. They got
for
gassed.
a lot longer than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
But after a while, like
when your offense can't do jack shit,
right.
I mean, it's not going to happen.
The speed of that Dolphins team is ridiculous. So.
It's way too fast. All right.
Yeah.
Category I've been looking forward to all the last few days. Caleb Williams' dad.
Yes. All right. Oh,
he will be on the show. We are going to find this guy and we're going to get him on here and he's going to give us all of his truths.
I don't know if he's going to
speak the truth.
If in the stripe spiral, we're going to talk about it, but maybe Caleb Williams' dad is sweating a little bit about how his son played.
So. Especially because Drake May blew up.
Yep. Right. Right.
Okay. We're gonna get there.
A little nervous here.
His eyes need to come home to USC
for 29 touchdown passes. I mean, come on.
I don't know. Maybe Drake's young dad or Drake. What's
Drake May's dad?
Drake May's dad should be on this podcast.
Drake May's dad. What does he think?
Yeah,
he hasn't said anything yet.
Drake May's basketball playing brother and his crazy eyebrows.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, Caleb Williams' dad. We have a lot of, as we said last week, a lot of teams have now entered into the Caleb Williams' dad stratosphere,
including one who I'm getting extremely nervous about.
Oh my God, I brought it up last week, and everybody was like, "No," but it's true. All right, starting with Thursday night, the Chiefs are the most uninteresting team that's good. They're so boring. They won. They beat the Broncos. This was a bad game.
Yeah, I get this. So Greg and I were watching this at a Hula Hands in Secaucus, New Jersey. And we were both Greg had a great comment. Killer Greg had a great comment where he said, like, the Chiefs, and I said I'd parrot it on this podcast. The Chiefs just look like they're toying with people, like they're not trying. And then when they need to turn it on, they turn it on just to win the game, and then just like meander away. Like I feel like they're really like when they get to the playoffs, they're full blast, like that high flying offense. But they feel like almost they don't need to do that, so they don't. And that's a good observation, I think.
Yeah,
it was a bad game on paper. I mean, it looked bad. Awful. Mahomes made mistakes.
He wasn't good at all.
No, but like it didn't even matter. It's because how bad the Broncos are.
The Broncos are so bad. They're so bad.
Yeah.
Well, Mahomes threw a terrible interception, which is funny because my son is a Chiefs fan because of course they're the best, and Mahomes is cool. So you gotta cheer for the best team, as I did when I was a kid. Mahomes threw a pick, that terrible pick in the red zone, and my son, for the first time in his entire NFL, 3 years of caring about the NFL,
just said,
he goes,
right?
He goes, what was that? He yelled at the screen. I'm like, it's going to get worse for you.
Yeah.
It's only going to get worse for you.
Yeah, I feel like this is bad for your son because by the time he grows up, like the Chiefs will be shit.
He's just going to follow. He's just going to follow Mahomes.
He's going to hop.
He goes. He's going to do.
That's what my nephew did. He was all in on Tom Brady and then suddenly started rooting for the Bucks.
Yeah, right. You just cheer for who's in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I did. I was a Montana guy. I cheered for Montana because he was in the Super Bowl a lot when I was a kid. But listen to this stat. Russell Wilson, our guy, who might not throw as many touchdowns as bathrooms sometimes, threw for 95 yards in this game. That's it. 95 yards for the.
How much is he getting paid?
And how many good wide receivers do they
Fucking
have?
$50 million a year.
How can the Broncos not get out of this contract?
We're gonna get into the Broncos receivers later. I'm
Yeah.
so excited for this.
This
The
is
best broadcasting moment of the week we've had all season is coming.
I mean, the one thing that I look forward to every week is that closing shot of Sean Payton just looking miserable. And it's
Sad boy forever.
It just resonates with me. I look forward to it every week and I'm never disappointed.
Sad boy forever, but maybe he's a genius. Maybe he's in on the Caleb Williams dad thing. Maybe he's taking to a Bennigan's out there, like buttering him up.
Now, we talk about this that Denver is probably one of the teams he's probably cool with.
Yes,
that he
He's
would go
got to
to.
be cool. He's got to be cool with it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Denver,
I think
right.
so.
Walmart, new ownership. I mean, come on.
A lot of money,
Right.
weed, legal.
Yeah. Right.
Lot of. I mean, championship pedigree of the state.
And
lot of
not
championships?
not a perennially bottom feeding team.
I mean, the Broncos have been amazing forever.
Not too far from where he is already. I mean,
They even made
in the
Jake
grand scheme of
Plummer
things.
look good. Jake
Hey.
Plummer
Yeah,
looked
I
great.
mean, honestly, and
Watch your whore
I'll-
mouth. I love me some Jake, who now has a mushroom farm, which is exactly where I'd peg him.
The only place he should be
Yep. Right.
on his mushroom farm.
It's oh god, you made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, you know me. I never miss an opportunity to snipe a shot at John Elway.
Please.
Honestly, like after Peyton Manning retired, the John Elway president era of the Broncos has really
Wow.
been their worst stretch in franchise
Yeah.
history.
Yes.
He's gone, right? They
Yeah, he
fired.
is.
Like
Yes.
they didn't
Yeah.
fire him, but like they were like, get out.
They
He was,
fired
he
him.
was politely asked to
Yeah.
Yeah,
find
they
other
were like,
employment.
Right.
please don't anymore. Like
Paxton
Brock
Lynch, Drew
Osweiler
Lock,
is
Brock
enough.
Osweiler.
Yeah, that's enough. You're good. All right. Well, the Broncos are clearly in the Caleb Williams dad bracket.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Two different teams. Now things are getting crazy here. Two different teams in the Caleb Williams bracket: the Vikings and the Bears.
My favorite
They're
part about
both
this
in there now.
My favorite part about this is that Kirk Cousins apparently has told the Vikings he will not waive his no trade clause. I don't know, I don't know what he's getting out of this.
Why? You
He
don't
is
feel
so
like
funny.
Listen, maybe he likes dark beer and fried food in Minneapolis. I don't know what to
his,
tell you.
perception of himself with this team is hysterical. Like we talked about in the offseason where
Weird.
he went into he's like, I'll sign for next year at half the price. And they're like,
no.
nah.
And they said,
we're
no,
good."
nah, son. It's like he doesn't. He's just like, the kids' routines are just. They're in the. I can't move them. I can't
Yeah,
move them right
right.
now. I'm not. It's all about the home life. I'm not moving
Right.
my kid. You
Yeah.
could play for a playoff team, Kurt.
Yeah.
Nah, he's like
whatever
a
your name
carpool-
is.
He's like a carpool dad, like
Yeah.
4 days of the week. He can't. He's too invested in this community.
I don't know.
The media asked him about it, and he was like, "I don't pay attention to that stuff." It's like, how can you not? How
He's
can you
got
not?
Twins season tickets. Leave him
Yeah,
alone.
right.
He's really excited about Anthony Edwards,
Yep.
Hey, the whole city should be.
right?
He'll be going wild soon. So, the Vikings are a mess.
Oh my god!
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
I didn't want
Justin
to admit
Jefferson
it, but
is
they are.
out forever.
yeah, and some of this I'm getting a little droplets of Lamar Jackson last year with Justin Jefferson here, where he's just like, my knee, and they're like, oh, can you come back? He's like,
Can't do it.
don't think so.
Can't do it. Vikings
And
win.
honestly, I don't blame him though. Same as I didn't blame Lamar last year. Like
Right.
they should have gotten this contract done in the offseason, and now that it's not, like there is a chance you might lose this guy.
The funny
So-
thing is, like, we've been through this. Vikings, you pay fucking Randy Moss. You don't ever let him leave.
Yeah.
You've been through it. You screwed up before. Just do right by the guy. Figure it out. You'll find another quarterback. Like, come on.
Yeah, right.
You're more likely to find another quarterback if you have this guy. What are you doing?
Yep.
The Bears. The Bears are hysterical.
They had that one the one game, So
But this
The
is
Bears.
this is and boy, I don't remember the names. This
So
was
sorry,
the
Bears.
this was the Bears game where like they had their high moment,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and now to continue the analogy, this is the Bears game where that girl whose name I can't remember hits her head on the rock after getting shoved by the guy.
There you
it
go.
Sounds like a coconut, and like he's got his gun and he's headed off towards Drake. Like this is that episode of this Bears season.
We gotta mention this is a Degrassi reference. Sorry, I want to get that one out there early for anybody who's just wondering why a gunman's going after Drake here.
The Bears are Degrassi.
Admittedly, I should have prefaced it with that, but like she has just hit her head on the rock.
Yeah,
she's never going to be seen again.
Yeah,
and now Drake is in mortal danger. Like that's the point of the Bears season that we're at.
Yeah,
it's only going to spiral downhill from here.
Soon their PP won't work.
100%.
I like how last week you had said, Drew, like DJ Moore is the new kid in town who lives in a refrigerator box.
He's living in a refrigerator box.
And won't make it to the next game because he lives in a refrigerator. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
He did not show up for this at all.
Not even close. This whole Bears team, my God. They had a win. I mean, I think they should really focus in on that.
Good for you, Bears.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you got the Panthers pick. You're fine.
Leave the memories alone.
Fine.
I did see that if the draft were today, they would
2-1-2.
Number 2.
Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison Jr. You're good.
Done. You fixed a lot of your problems.
You're good after that. That's what I would do.
You have to fire Saddam Hussein and his various body doubles.
Yeah, right.
Still hilarious.
That's coming up.
Oh, he's going.
We are getting into that hot spot of the season.
Oh,
where
somebody's gonna go. Somebody's gonna go.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna get sacked. That's what I like about soccer when they say that. Sacked. All right. Vikings and Bears, both in the Caleb Williams dad pot. The Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders and the Patriots. So it's Patriots West versus Patriots East.
Ugh.
Brian Hoyer. Even Brian Hoyer showed up. Like it's like a party where you were like, I hope ex-boyfriend so-and-so doesn't come. And then he shows up.
Yeah, right.
Both of them show up.
Well, it felt weird not to invite him.
Right. You can't not invite him to this. Garoppolo's there. He gets knocked out via back injury. Hoyer shows up. Jacoby Myers scores a touchdown.
Yeah. Yep.
Of course he does.
McDaniels has never lost to Belichick.
He's like 3-0 against Belichick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The Patriots are what? 1-5?
Yes.
Their worst record in forever.
This isn't good, though.
This isn't good.
It's really bad because they're in the Caleb Williams dad bracket. They're firmly planted.
Dark clouds on the horizon, gentlemen.
Thank God there's a Bears and a Carolina to keep them out of there.
Here's the thing. I don't think Caleb Williams' dad wants to go to New England if Belichick is there, because that is a guy who would completely neuter Caleb Williams. I really do believe that.
Interesting.
You think Caleb Williams' dad would say no to Belichick?
I think Belichick's done. I think he's a damn good coach, and he always surprises you. But like, I think after this season, he'll make it through the season. He'll 100% make it through the season.
Right.
But I think he steps away. I think this is finally it.
I saw this on ESPN. Teddy Bruschi saying, I think Belichick should be fired or whatever he said. Should be done. Like, your own guy saying that? That's pretty bad.
He's not going to.
Come on.
They won't fire him ever. It just won't happen.
They can't.
It'll be an ass to step away.
He's gonna
John Elway kind of a thing.
And the Patriots are still incredibly dangerous. They always play tough. Even this game, they were playing tough. I think the Raiders really were great at like kind of balancing out all the stuff Belichick was trying to do to them. But I think they have just as good of a chance of getting Caleb, because I think even if they finish like top 5 or 4, I bet Kraft goes all in to get that number 1.
Here's the only thing I find hilarious about the prospect of Bill Belichick, of the prospect of the Patriots being in the Caleb Williams dad race, which is like, if they don't win another game this season, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if they didn't, Bill Belichick would go the entire season needing only 2 wins to get to 300 and fall short.
I saw something funny about this. He is not only is he closer to most NFL losses of all
Yeah,
time.
I saw that.
Yes.
He's much closer. He could get there this season.
Yeah. It's like
He's-
9 or something like that.
He's 8 or 9 games away from the most losses ever in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality of being in the NFL for
Yeah.
so fucking
That's
long.
like Brett Favre has the most
it's-
fumbles or interceptions. Yeah, because he fucking played forever.
But
Okay,
still,
here's the
hilarious that he would break that record first.
Yeah, because here's the. I mean, this is the corollary. Everybody knows the other half of this equation. You know what starting pitcher in baseball history has the most losses?
Nolan Ryan.
Cy Young.
Oh, Cy Young.
Cy
Okay.
Young.
Cy, he has
He pitched the
511
most.
wins. He also has like 285 losses or something. But yeah, this was a bad game played by two bad teams. If I were not a fan of the Raiders, I would not have watched this
Raiders
game.
are
'Cause it was
3-3, man.
reprehensible.
Like,
I know, and now they pack their bags and take on the Degrassi High Cougars or whatever the hell they are next week. If the Raiders aren't careful, they're going to be above 500.
yeah, right.
If they're not careful.
I'm just saying in that division, I mean, like, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of hope there.
Oh, I don't. But
I
think if Josh Jacobs gets going again,
Maybe.
which he won't. Listen, at the end of that game, there were like 3.5 minutes on the clock. Patriots had like 2 timeouts or whatever it was. All the Raiders needed to do was get 2 first downs and the game was over. And they couldn't even manage that running the ball. Like, this line is bad. Josh Jacobs, this is why you didn't give him a long-term deal, because he's only ever done that once in his career. And boy, you're not going to give him that deal this offseason.
No.
And, he's averaging his 3.3 yards a carry or whatever it is. Like, Mac Jones threw a wretched interception in this game.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Like, the Raiders can't run the ball. There were bad penalties in this game. There was bad officiating in this game. There were dropped passes in this game, especially by the Patriots on the last drive. The Raiders were something like one of 5 or 1 of 6 for touchdowns in red zone possessions. I mean, this was a bad game played by bad teams. And also, if you watch the broadcast, CBS tried like 3 times to have the whole like sky cam around the booth out to the field thing, and they went like 1 for 3 on that. The third time they tried it, you saw it clunk against something and stop before they had to cut back to a game camera. Like one time it just went around the booth and showed me the back of Jim Nance's head. Like, what are we doing? Just stand the guys in front of the backdrop like a regular freaking broadcast does. But yeah, this was a bad game by bad teams.
I thought
Also-
the Raiders did an excellent job at getting to Mac Jones. Like that offensive line
Max
at the beginning of the
Crosby-
year
Max
really
Crosby is dynamite.
looked like it should have been top 5 like in the league. And like I still think the Patriots offensive line, even with all the injuries, is still very good. And the Raiders just I think they got like 5 sacks, but more importantly, they put pressure on them almost every play.
Every play. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And I think that puts you off your game. So, and actually, Mac Jones didn't play as bad as he had played the 2 weeks prior.
That interception was bad.
That interception was bad. But
especially to the Raiders, who struggle to force turnovers. But like that was a bad game by bad teams. I'm glad that the Raiders won it, and I'm glad that now they're going to go beat up Degrassi High and be 4-3 and give me a glimmer of hope. Now they'll probably lose.
Are they going to stab?
They're that rival school that stabbed JT.
I was they're going to stab JT outside of the dance.
My favorite. That's my
I
favorite.
can't wait for our Degrassi podcast.
I want that.
man.
We've been threatening it for years. We should just
You have to
it.
do it. You have to do it. All right, Bill Belichick is 299 and 157 in his career, which means that he's 9 losses away from Dan Reeves and Jeff Fisher in the regular
Both of those
season.
guys were around for a long time.
They were. Tom Landry actually has the total record of 178 losses in his career.
Yeah.
So 9 more, and our guy Belichick will break that. I thought this was interesting, though. With Brady, Belichick is 219 and 64, 30 and 11 in the postseason. Without Brady, he's 80 and 93, 1 and 2 in the postseason. Sub 500 without Brady,
too, doesn't it?
Counting those Brown years, which they made the playoffs the one year.
They did.
So,
yep.
Yikes. Big
I think
yikes, Dale.
So this is not, to me, as much as I'm terrified they're going to get Caleb Williams, I still think this team is like a 7 or 8 win team. I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
All right. All right, maybe, hopefully so. I can't believe I'm rooting for them to win. Caleb Williams' dad bracket. The Cardinals lose again to the Rams.
Yeah.
Mark's Rams. I don't
My
think
Rams.
there's not a lot to say here. The
No.
Cardinals are frisky, but not good.
The only thing is somebody needs to take Josh Dobbs aside and be like, "Bro, stop.
Yeah.
We're trying to
Calm
be
down.
bad here.
Calm down."
Stop."
He's going to be a backup in the NFL for a long time because of
Seems
this
that
season.
way, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. He tries hard.
Cooper Kupp looked good. Came back.
He's back.
Got a
He's
touchdown.
back.
So, yep, that was good.
Yep. Your Rams.
So, my
The Rams are looking all right.
My Rams 3-3. All right.
It could be worse. It could be worse. You could be stuck in the limbo that is forever 2-2. That's this category. Forever 2-2. Yes, go ahead.
Not to get out in front of this, but as I look at the 4 games in the forever 2-2 bracket, can I
Forever
just say, I don't give a
2-2.
shit about any of these games. Like,
Exactly.
all of these games are functionally meaningless.
Okay, we can go through these quick. The Ravens beat the Titans.
Sorry, I
Anything
don't
to
mean
say?
to cut us off at the knees here.
No, that's kind of how I feel about these. Ravens beat the Titans. Is there anything to say here?
Other than Kelly Gregg's reaction when we were setting up the booth on the last day, and he goes, "Hey, guess who got guess who got embarrassed in London?" And then he just moved on with his day.
This is the only thing I'll say about this game. If the Browns are the team that I understand the least, the Ravens and Titans are right behind them in the race.
Yeah, they got to be.
We talked. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the Titans. They're inconsistent. When they're on, they're good. They are really good, and it's it's not there. And I think some of that. I think at this point, you got to point to their head coach. You got to point to Vrabel here. Like he is. I don't think he's the answer at this point. You have enough data to show that this guy is just not going to get you over that hump. So
he's been around longer than Dan Campbell, but somehow he's the poor man's Dan Campbell.
That's a good comparison, actually. Yeah,
He kind of is.
yeah.
Oh my god! All right, forever 2-2. The Bengals beat the Seahawks. I don't know what happened here. Neither team looks good.
No, they
The
don't.
Bengals
I
didn't look
have
good.
never
The
been sold on
Seahawks
the
looked
Seahawks.
inept. It was bad.
Yeah. Bengals, I think, were lucky they got this Seattle team because sometimes, once again, Seattle plays tough, but not in this one. So.
They were awful in this
Yeah.
game. I didn't understand it. All right, moving on. Jaguars forever 2-2. They beat the Colts. Anthony Richardson is out for the rest of the year, which is something I never thought would happen. I'm like, okay, well, he'll go 13 for 38 in completions, but he's not ever getting hurt. He's like the Terminator. Not so. He's out for the year with a shoulder AC injury. So he's done, according to Irsay.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
Colts are done, basically.
He's got to learn to, as big as he is, he's definitely, he was taking a lot of risks early on. So I think that caught up with him.
The only thing the Colts got to decide is if they're going to try and fight it out with Gardner Minshew, or are they going to try and sign, I don't know, Colt McCoy off the street or whatever. I mean, is Colt McCoy better than Gardner Minshew at this point?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Knows.
I bet this team will try for the next. I bet up until the deadline,
They'll try,
and then I think they're just going to be sell. And
then they're going to trade Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, probably.
There's nothing actually wrong. I think honestly, this Colts team has already kind of surprised some, and I think there's more talent here than even I thought. But there's no shame in just saying hey, the guy we thought was going to lead us is gone. We're going to try to get through it, but I don't know. It feels like almost like an excuse, but at the same time, it's still a good excuse. So,
I suppose the Jags still don't impress me.
No,
it's just I don't understand what's going on here, but they have a good record now.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to win this division by default. It seems like, but
no, because there's a team going to come out of this one and give them a run for their money.
Oh, you mean forever 2-2? The Texans beat the Saints. What happened here? The Derek Carr threw for 1 billion yards and they still lost. The Texans win
because C.J. Stroud, being the consensus #1 overall pick and probably the smartest pick of the draft.
That's so annoying. He's thrown 1 interception.
He's so tall.
I know he's so tall.
He's so much taller.
Right.
He's so much better.
They
don't even have do they have a good offensive coordinator? I'm not really sure.
I think
is CJ Stroud Frank Reich proof?
I honestly think
I hate Frank Reich. Go be a priest. Go be a priest. You want to be a priest? Go be a priest.
He needs to like home. Mace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go be a priest like Mace.
All right. We'll trade you. You can have Ken Dorsey back, and we'll take Frank.
Can he
back.
play quarterback? We'll take him as.
I mean,
take him as
the
a
land of the blind.
Can he be out there?
He couldn't play quarterback when he could play quarterback.
He thinks he can play quarterback. He would love to be out there.
Couldn't play that.
He keeps calling for Bubba Franks.
Tell you what, we'll give you Eric Crouch in the deal. You want to just line him up?
Right.
Crouch.
I retired from football. How can you retire from something you never played? I retired from the NFL. It's like me saying I retired from Major League Baseball.
That was one of the great emails I ever got from Mark. After Eric Crouch announced his retirement from a league he hadn't played in, Mark emailed me and said, "I hereby announce my retirement from Major League Baseball."
Yeah, right. God. Like you never even played, Eric. Come on.
Well, they tried to move him to a receiver. That was the problem.
Yeah, you didn't want that.
Anyway, Texans win over the Saints. What is going on with the Saints team? Forever 2-2.
I like the Texans.
They might win the division. All right, moving on. We're not spending a lot of time on them. America's team, the Lions, beat the Bucks in an ugly game, but the Lions keep on winning. The Lions actually, I don't think they're the best team in the NFL at all, or the best team in the NFC. But after this week, when they win and the other teams lose, everyone's like, "Oh, the Lions are in the mix." I don't think they're actually in the mix, but hey, good for the Lions.
No, but they're the best team in their division.
Easy.
Unless or until Green Bay gets their shit together.
Yeah, right.
And you got to play the teams in front of you, and
they keep
don't have particularly a hard schedule, but that's not their fault. So keep on winning, Lions.
Keep on rolling.
Bucks. I mean, this is kind of who I thought they were at the beginning of the season. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they were like, oh, they kind of lucked out early, and now it's starting to show because
this felt like the Bucks should be. Yeah,
right.
You're right.
All
right, one more category to go. Ritter me this. Desmond Ritter was awful in this game and lost it for the Falcons, who last week we went through their schedule and we're like, these guys could win 10 games. And Drew, you were like, no, there's no way that they win 10 games.
No.
Their schedule may say that they can win 10 games.
They're not
that defense and running game, but they're not doing it. And they proved it here. Desmond Ritter, again, some of the worst quarterback play. I have a terrible quarterback on my team. One of the worst quarterback stretches there.
Well, you know why? Because they played against my Commanders. That's why.
Is that
crappy Commanders?
Is Sam Howell good?
No.
Is he any good?
No, he absolutely isn't. He is Colt McCoy. That's who this man is. He reminds me everything about Colt McCoy.
I was going to say he's where Kirk Cousins was when Kirk first came into the league.
Right.
But you said the same thing, essentially.
Yeah,
right. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just don't think he's going to be the quarterback for Washington next year. I think they're going to find somebody better, which is totally what you should do.
They're going to find Kirk Cousins again?
Yeah, right. Could be.
Bring him
Kirk
back.
Go home.
Bring him back.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think Howell's going to be above the Orton line.
No. I also don't think Ron Rivera is going to make it to next season, but it's going to be, I think I've talked about this before, it's going to be like of his own choosing. Not like that, Drew. You gave me like the wide eyes. He's going to live past the season.
Oh God,
that's after all the Daboll talk. You went right there.
Right. I just don't think he will be with Washington. I think new ownership will want somebody of their choosing. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
I think he will be a defensive coordinator and he will do very well. Somewhere.
Right. We also speculated about his college head coaching career.
Yeah, you know what I think.
Oh yeah, exactly. Put him in charge of Maryland. There you go.
Oh, that'd be such a good fit.
Yeah,
I would love that. Desmond Ritter, bad. He's dragging this team down. They need to play Heineke.
Yep.
I mean,
he's my boy.
It's a fact. They need to bring in Heineke, and he can pump his fists, and then they can be like season tickets next year. Taylor Heineke, which was the best from last year in broadcasting moments. This guy's definitely not going to be here, but season tickets.
I like it a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy tries hard. So
that one playoff, oh my God, he played his ass off.
He did. I have a bold statement. Okay. I think by the time the Orton line appears, Sam Howell will either be the Orton line or be above it.
Wow.
Because the league is so bad, and this guy's played okay. He's got to be at the line.
Ryan, I am adamant
that
this
bold prediction
will be higher than it's ever been.
Right.
The
bold
piece
prediction.
The piece you're missing about the analytics of the Orton line is that it's not a bell curve. There's not a certain percentage of the league that has to be above the Orton line.
Right.
The Orton line
curve.
itself shifts with the talent. It's fungible.
I think he's going to be close to the Orton line.
It is.
He's going to be very close.
Listen, first man under is still under.
Yep.
He might be the first man.
I remember who the hell was it Davis Mills was the quarterback of the Texans last year?
Yes.
And like as me and Mark and Greg, not the Greg famous for this podcast, but other Greg, start meeting out the Orton line, we get into these debates about like, well, does this guy feel like the right fit here? And does this guy feel like the right fit here? And finally, without really looking at it, we got down to Davis Mills. And other Greg was like, yeah, I feel like Davis Mills. I'm okay with him at this spot. And I was like, guys, you're okay with him at 30.
Yeah,
like,
right.
we're not arguing about 10 here. There's only two guys below this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
I think Desmond Ritter is below him.
Desmond Ritter may have been below him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to be good. All right, it's time for a segment. Sad Boy Boat only seats 4 people. Number 1 could be
Sean
Desmond
Payton.
Ritter.
Oh, okay.
That's it, yeah.
Sean
Sean Payton.
captain always is Sean Payton.
Sean
so I feel
Payton.
Like yeah, right.
When in the press conference, he said, like, we did better, guys. That was hilarious.
So sad.
That's hilarious.
I never have sympathy for the Patriots. I don't know if there's a rule pertaining to the sad boy boat, but Mac Jones should be on the sad boy boat.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
He seemed like he was off to a somewhat promising career, and then he went through that whole season where like defensive guys were calling plays, and he's just never recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's strange too is like now you get like Malik Cunningham from Liberty. I think is that where he's from?
Yes. No. House of Brown, Louisville.
Oh, is he from Louisville? Okay.
Yes.
So they've talked about. He's now on the main roster, and I feel like just his presence there is going to be enough.
They ran him in the Wildcat on Sunday.
They did, and I just feel like him there is going to really make Mac Jones's footing even less solid.
And
so,
I'm going to throw it out as a nominee. I don't know the kid's name. Purdue's kicker. If nobody saw making the rounds, Purdue's kicker. In a pregame contest, they pulled some rando out of the stands and gave him $30,000 because he hit like a 35-yard field goal. Purdue's kicker proceeded to miss 3 field goals from roughly that distance in the actual game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's a good sad boy boat right there.
Just put him out there. Why not? All right, so Purdue's kicker.
Yeah.
Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Sean Payton. That's 3.
And
There's a lot more.
Yeah, Desmond Ritter.
Dayball, Desmond Ritter.
No, Dayball's not on the sad boy boat. He's on the angry cardiac arrest boat.
Angry tugboat.
Is it Drake because he knows that Justin Fields is coming for him?
Oh my God. All right. That's our 4. All right. It's time for broadcasting moments of the week. We've got some here. Let me present these to you. Let me bring these up real quick. Go over these real quick. Let's see. We did George Kittle. Did the trick plays. Where are we? All right. Oregon's uniforms. The splatter paint.
Yeah.
Splatter paint victory.
Yep.
This is very funny. The AJ Dillon playing Farm Simulator video. Have you seen this?
No, but I love that. Yeah.
Packers running back AJ Dillon just wants to grow some crops.
Good for him.
And the quote down here is, imagine having AJ Dillon on your fantasy team and this dude's fucking farming. Justin Pugh in his introduction on Sunday night said straight off the couch, well, you should go back to the couch, Justin Pugh. You can't protect any quarterbacks. Your quarterback has a broken fucking neck. Belichick smashing his tablet again after Mac Jones was sacked to lose the game. That was fun. This is great. NFL Films, the best, catches the Lions and Bucks guys talking about switching jerseys, and the Bucks guy goes, hell no, I'm not switching the creamsicle. I want to keep the creamsicle.
Talk about it. They're wearing the creamsicles, which
I'm keeping those creamsicles.
Looking awesome.
I'm not giving you that.
What about a white Lions jersey instead if I'm wearing the fucking creamsicle Tampa Bay?
Yeah, I really want that.
Uniforms.
How about this picture of Daniel Jones?
God, he looks exactly the same.
So what was that taken yesterday?
This is hilarious. Talking Giants. The Giants haven't scored an offensive touchdown since 2014 when Daniel Jones was 7. Oh my God. Savage. This is this is amazing. Apparently Shannon Sharp had a weird day on First Take where he was covered in makeup and it looked like Steve-O.
Oh, what is this? A crossover episode?
Look at this fucking photo.
Oh my god!
I don't want to make fun of him, but look at this. He looks like Steve-O.
Looks like Steve-O. That's a lot of makeup.
Oh man, what happened here to Shannon? He looks like evil Steve Urkel. All right, there she is.
Charger fan.
Life is a Chargers fan.
I've been on enough camera circuits where I know that at some point somebody just kept saying, "Find her again."
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure.
Find her again.
Yep.
A few minutes later, Charger fan cries. All right. What's going on between Dable and McDermott? Look at this handshake.
Yeah.
They hate each other. What's going on here?
They were never friends.
They don't. He's a little slap on the back.
Yeah.
Out of here. Goes right and hugs our guy, Josh Allen.
Yeah, right.
He's good with Josh Allen. All right. Justin Herbert caught more passes than the number 1 draft pick, Quentin Johnson, did in the game on Monday night. 0 catches for Quentin Johnson. Yeah. Justin Herbert caught his own pass.
Quentin Johnson will be all right.
Good Lord.
Maybe.
You think? I don't know. Maybe. It's pretty rough for him. That's broadcasting moments. There's a lot of fun on this week.
No Steve Smith, Broncos wide receivers.
Oh, we need to talk about that. That's right. Thank you for bringing that up.
Can't let that get by.
We cannot. I wish I could play the whole thing where he was. Steve Smith was on NFL Network before the game and said, like, Jerry Jeudy, and I said he was bad, but I felt bad about it, so I went to go apologize, and he talked shit to me, basically. So then he cut a WWF wrestling promo about it and said, like, get better, and then talk to me, guy. And then Jerry Jeudy went 3 for 14. It was incredible. Steve Smith is my favorite player in the NFL besides when I was a kid. He's my favorite Panther. He just kind of had WWF promo on Jerry Jeudy being terrible and said
that's been his career, you know.
He said if any team ever called me to ask if they should trade for this guy, I would say no. He said that on the air. Good for Steve. Yeah. I love Steve Smith. I love it. One of my favorite things to do is go find like all of his shit talking on YouTube. Like, oh, he got mad at so and so he destroyed him. Oh man, Jerry Jeudy's not good, so no. He's not wrong. Those are the broadcasting moments of the week. Greg is out of it. He did not send any Greg's bets this week. No. And I said, hey, you got any bets? And he said nothing. He said nothing, so he must be really.
We discussed some things while we were out, but like, I'm not surprised. Greg's been through a lot this week.
Taking a quick check, still nothing.
Yeah,
still nothing for Greg.
The man has seen some things.
Oh God! All right, that's it. So we're moving on to the Stripe Spiral, where let me say before we start this, I was watching Friday Night College Football, stayed up until 2:00 in the morning to watch Colorado piss away a 29-point lead. Really wanted to stay up for the conclusion. I physically couldn't do it. Fell asleep at 2:00 in the morning, woke up. My father-in-law was watching with me. He's like, did Colorado win or lose? They lost.
Yep.
They lost. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that's going to be in this.
The tree.
The 1-4 Stanford.
Yeah.
All right.
Huge win for the tree. Some questionable coaching decisions by Dion.
Yeah.
I mean, but listen, he's been honest the whole season. His team is not ready for prime time yet.
Yep.
You know, if they get to bowl eligibility this year, that's going to be a huge deal for them.
That's a big win,
especially in retrospect of where they were last year. But anyway, as far as the college football world goes, and then there were 11. We are down to 11 undefeated teams out of 133. A lot of those are going to sort themselves out because Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan are all going to play each other and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. 2 of those undefeateds, James Madison and the Liberty Flames, not ranked by the AP poll.
Can't imagine why.
No respect for those 2 teams. JMU actually in an interesting spot because even if they run the table, same as last year, there's a 2-year probationary period when you join the FBS from the FCS where you can't play in postseason play.
Right.
So JMU could run the table, still not play in the Sun Belt Championship game, and not go to a bowl game.
But at the same time, I feel like that is some pressure off. It's just
absolutely.
It's not like you're playing for really anything other than that final record at this point. So
and then there were 2. There are still 2 teams in the FBS who have not won a game yet this year. Sam Houston State, who is in their first season as an FBS team, the Bearcats, who intentionally misspell it with a K, and Nevada, who has no fucking excuse.
Yeah.
in other headlines of the week, Nebraska idle this week, so they neither win nor lose. FAU, led by former Texas head coach Tom Herman, up 56-14 on South Florida, kicked an onside kick and recovered it. And that's how rivalries start.
Yeah, right. What a dick. Jimmy Johnson.
Texas A&M loses again, which means we are inching closer to Jimbo Fisher receiving a disproportionate amount of Charlie Weiss money. Caleb Williams looked impressively mortal.
Yes, he did.
Meanwhile, Drake May absolutely blows up, gets a wide receiver back from NCAA kind of sort of limbo suspension, throws 3 touchdown passes to Tez, and pretty soon Drake May looks like he's maybe the best quarterback in the land. He's not, but he looks like it for a minute. Air Force beats Wyoming in a game that seems like it shouldn't be important, but actually is important because one, Air Force is the number 1 rushing team in the country. I think they average something like 300 rushing yards a game. It's a completely stupid number. Wow. And beat a game Wyoming team who had 2 pretty big upsets on their calendar already. They beat Texas Tech and then they beat somebody else. I can't remember.
They had a good record, right? I'm going into the game.
And so now Air Force moves into undisputed first place of the Mountain West and is also, as of right now, the top-rated group of 5 team. They're 1 poll spot better than Tulane, who beat Memphis. So now, if the New Year's 6 games were decided today, Air Force would take that spot in the Cotton Bowl or whatever bowl it rotates to this year. A lot of football yet to be played, but right now, Air Force in the pilot's seat. Iowa takes commanding lead in the Big Ten West by winning a game as only Iowa can win it, beating Wisconsin 15-6. There was a touchdown scored in the game. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the score and I went, oh no, there were 9 field goals in this game. But no, I had to look. There was a touchdown scored by Iowa. 15-6, they beat Wisconsin. For all we make fun of Iowa, Iowa's defense is legit. The problem is, let's say they go all the way to the Big Ten championship game. They're going to have to play either Penn State or Ohio State or Michigan if Michigan doesn't step on their own dick. And then that's where, your defense is great, but you can score 0 points against another top-level defense. But if Iowa is the Big Ten West champ, and if Michigan is the Big Ten East champ, and Michigan is undefeated at that point, that is prime dick stepping for Michigan in that game.
Oh, yeah. They're begging to jump on that dick.
Meanwhile, Louisville, who we spent 5 minutes talking about last week, might run the table, completely filled their pants against Pitt, who, in the meantime, if you haven't been following the Pitt storyline, Pitt has a transfer quarterback named Phil Jerkovic, who was expected to be the big guy for Pitt this year and was so bad at quarterback, they moved him to tight end for this game. And the House of Brahm went ahead and decided they were going to drop that one in an embarrassing game. And in the meantime, best sign I saw on the weekend at College Game Day, and the small pieces I caught of it said, with the first pick, the BC Lions select Bo Nix. And boy, did he! And not that he played poorly against Washington, but he certainly gave Michael Penix the inside track on being the first Heisman Trophy winner ever to also be collecting Social Security benefits. With that, we now move into the second half of the season. There's some good games this weekend. There's a couple of undefeateds here and there. Texas is playing, I think, Texas plays Kansas, maybe. I forget what the schedule says. There's a few good matchups across the country. I'm sure we'll lose another couple of undefeateds this week as we get deeper and deeper into conference play. And we are now 2 weeks away from the official first college football playoff rankings.
Yep. That's when Liberty will make its move.
What do you?
We're at the point of the season where like everybody who's undefeated to me should be ranked at this point.
Right.
Even if it's like 22 through 25.
Yeah.
Like those teams have put everybody on their schedule and beaten everybody on their schedule.
I love it.
We've been doing this the last couple weeks.
Liberty's not going to run the table anyway.
We've been doing this the last couple weeks. You've been giving us your recommendation of what to watch on Saturday.
Oh, I had it.
Have one?
I had it, and I
is it Florida State
closed
Duke?
my document. Florida State Duke is a good game, but Duke is reeling a little bit.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Penn State, Ohio State.
Yeah,
that's a huge game. I mean, I don't know that Ohio State's the prohibitive favorite there, but at home, I would be surprised if they drop that one to Penn State, who always seems like they're 1 or 2 steps away. Tennessee, Alabama is a fun game because the loser of that game will be functionally eliminated. The winner of that game still has a chance, but the loser of that game will be functionally eliminated.
Come on, virtual Mark's alma mater.
Yeah. Tennessee, Alabama is at 3:30. Penn State, Ohio State is at noon. Texas has Houston. My bad. And then Duke, Florida State at 7:30, and Utah, USC. Utah, USC at 8.
Ooh, I love that
game. Could have implications too because Utah's defense is big and physical and tough, and Caleb Williams just got punched in the mouth. Mm-hmm. So if anybody stands to maybe punch USC in the mouth again, it would be them. Utah certainly has a history of pulling off big upsets and kind of ruining the Pac-12 for everybody. Because then they'll spit the bit against like Arizona State late in the year for no reason.
Is Utah going to bring out Cam Rising in this game, or is he back?
I don't know.
Because that matchup last year was my favorite college football game of the season.
The only game they've dropped this year is one of the games he didn't play. So, they can make the case that functionally they might still be the best team in the Pac-12 if they'd have their quarterback for the whole thing.
Okay. All right. We got a football FUBAR coming up here, but one of our FUBAR members was in the news. Did you notice that? Our guy, Antonio Brown, arrested. Arrested for not paying child support. So,
oh my God,
continuing the story there on Antonio Brown. But who do we have this week for football FUBAR?
Well, so as Drew touched on in the Stripe Spiral segment, the House of Brahm shit the bed. Okay, over the weekend. They metaphorically shit the bed. They lost their first game of the year against Pittsburgh. Louisville, though, probably should be okay under the watchful eyes of probably 21 Brahms that are on that team.
All the Brahms.
I feel like it's like Hydra, where like when one Brahm falls, another Brahm takes their place. So I feel like they have like a succession plan here of like 3 decades of Brahms. So they should be fine. Louisville should be all right. That wasn't always the case, though, with Louisville. So Louisville definitely has had experience with flighty coaches in the past. So one in particular who just couldn't stay put for any extended period of time. So that's right. Today, get your neck braces ready because Bobby Petrino is going to football FUBAR.
Bobby.
So Bobby started his coaching career at his alma mater, Carroll University in Montana in 1983 and began to bounce around as an offensive coach for Arizona State, Weber State, Idaho, Nevada, and Utah State for most of the late 80s and early 90s. He bounced around all the time. He would like go to Arizona State, leave for like Weber State, and then come back to Arizona State as like a higher position. So he's constantly just moving between these colleges. He strangely ended up as the Jaguars offensive coordinator in 2001, which I do not remember at all. Before finally getting an offensive coordinator job the next year, once again, 1 year at one spot, going to the next one, in 2002 as Auburn's offensive coordinator, which he then parlayed into the head coaching position at Louisville in 2003. His teams immediately overachieved, and he built this program into a perennial top 25 team with, full circle, Brian Brohm as his quarterback.
Wow.
Right. So this is the Brohm circle. There we go. So now, right before the 2006 season, Bobby Petrino signed a 10-year, $26.5 million contract extension with Louisville, proclaiming, and I quote, "This is the place I've always wanted to be, and I'm excited to stay here for the rest of my career." 7 months later, Petrino quit on Louisville and signed a 5-year, $24 million deal with the Atlanta Falcons. Nothing like pulling an old Pete Carroll and leaving these players out to dry, is it, huh, Bobby? And this is, by the way, that was back when it was a pain in the ass to get into the transfer portal. So not as way to fuck over all those recruits. Petrino got to Atlanta, and during his introductory press conference, talked about how exciting it's going to be to turn Michael Vick into, quote, a pure passer. It's one thing this man has. It's bad timing. 3 months later, Michael Vick was arrested after his dogfighting ring got exposed, leaving Petrino with Joey Harrington, Byron Leftwich, and Chris Redman as his quarterbacks to lead his high-flying, rootin' shooting offense. It was at this time.
Chris Redman, also Louisville.
What's that? Yes, right.
Wow.
3 months. 3 months after he got this team, he started sending feelers back to his NCAA contacts to see how he could basically bail on the Falcons. Season starts. Falcons go 3-10. And at this time, Petrino starts panicking. He reaches out to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones to act as an intermediary and get him in touch with Jerry's alma mater, Arkansas. Jerry, excited just to stir the shit in any way that he possibly can. And honestly, to get his old college, at the time, a fairly recognizable and
Why not?
Respected
Why
is not the
not?
right word, but like X's and O's guy.
Yeah,
not respected.
Established coach for his alma mater, and also to fuck over an NFC team. These are 2 check marks for Jerry. Got him in touch with their AD, and their AD told them, Arkansas's AD said, I can't do anything with you until you're out of your contract, or unless you resign.
Oh.
So, rumors started to swirl about Petrino bailing on yet another team, to the point that Falcons owner Arthur Blank confronted him before a Monday Night Football game against the Saints. Petrino personally promised Blank that he was committed and staying in Atlanta. 24 hours later, after being crushed by the Saints, Petrino resigned as Falcons head coach with a 78-word laminated note he left in each player's locker that started with, quote, out of my respect for you, I'm letting you know that with a heavy heart, I resigned today as head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. The decision was not easy, but it was made in the best interest of me and my family. Falcons players and coaches immediately tore Petrino apart in the press following this resignation, describing him as cowardly, aloof, incompetent. His former defensive coordinator, Mike Zimmer, who might end up in football FUBAR, described him that day the following. This is how he described him. Quote, he's a coward. He ruined a bunch of people's lives, a bunch of family, a bunch of kids, because he didn't have enough guts to stay here and finish the job. And that's the truth. More people in football have enough courage about him and enough fight to stick it out and not quit halfway through the year. It's fucking cowardly. Damn right.
Wow.
Damn right. So now Petrino would make his way to Arkansas, where he would embarrass himself further by famously getting into a motorcycle accident with a former volleyball player / personal assistant, who, as it turns out, he was having an affair with. After a bizarre press conference where red-faced and neck-braced, Petrino claimed he was riding alone, and it came out during the press conference that he was actually riding with this woman. Arkansas would fire him for conduct detrimental to the program. It turns out he hired this very unqualified woman to be his assistant just to bang in his office, passing over multitude of people who were much more qualified. I think I read, too, that she was the only one who didn't have a master's degree. Everybody else did. Everybody else had, like, experience in football programs, but they weren't blowing him. So, moving on. In the end, Petrino would end up back at Louisville, where before he got demoted to Missouri State in the FCS, where he failed to make a dent. However, he currently is the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M, which shows you shows that anybody can fail upwards in this league.
Charlie Weiss money.
Everybody going to get that Charlie Weiss money.
In about 3 months, he'll be somewhere else. So, Bobby Petrino, you can't get out of this one, buddy. Welcome to football FUBAR.
I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I hate the Falcons. And I love to see their demise, but man, he rubs you the wrong way with that story.
When he was in his second stint with the Cardinals, did he coach Lamar?
Yes, he did coach Lamar.
That's what I thought.
And apparently it did not go well. I didn't really touch on that, but when I was doing research, apparently Lamar did not like him, and he constantly criticized Lamar's play.
Yeah.
And obviously, as it turned out, unwarranted, Lamar's a great player, so...
Also, Lamar was insane that year.
So good at Louisville.
He was insane. Didn't he have like 7 touchdowns in a game?
Yes. Not that he's been bad for the Ravens, but he was so good at Louisville.
Go
back and watch, if you can access it, the Louisville Clemson game with Deshaun Watson for Clemson and Lamar Jackson for Louisville. That's in Death Valley, and I know Louisville loses that game. It is one of the greatest games ever. It's unbelievable.
He was nuts.
Lamar goes off in that game.
Wow. Bobby Petrino is the worst. I hate that guy. I hate
very
that guy.
shitty human.
It's hilarious that he's on Texas A&M.
There's actually the best stuff is I came across Lawyer Malloy, who I forgot was on that Falcons team, and he once again I chose Zimmer's quote, but Lawyer Malloy also has some really good words. So.
Zimmer never said anything in his 40-year NFL career.
A fucking coward.
He never said a word. He called this guy a fucking coward. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
A real quick update: the Utah Utes have not had Cameron Rising all season. He's been out. He's been out all season.
He played the first game. No, has he been gone for all of them?
He has not played at all since his ACL tear in the Rose Bowl, and it doesn't look like he's going to play in this game either.
Jeez, and they're still 5-1.
They may redshirt him. That's what.
Yeah, sure. Go for the medical redshirt. Why not?
That's what the last story says. So, but that'll still be a fun game. All right, that's it. Foobars. It's time for game balls. Who you want to give a game ball to, Drew?
I'm going to go ahead, and I never do this for my own team. I'm going to give my game ball to Max Crosby. Why not?
Yeah,
I think you should. He deserves it. He was awesome. Mark, you got one?
I'm giving a game ball to a man who just didn't fuck up. Zach Wilson, congratulations.
That's what you need to do?
That's all the Jets have to do to win is just him not to fuck up.
Oh, my God. Game ball to the Chargers fan. Give me that lady. Good for you. Go out there and root for your team. I'm sorry your coach is Brandon Staley. All right, plug time. What do we got on the music blog this week?
No new articles from me this week. I was a little bit under the weather, but I did get a press release today stating that Austrian Death Machine has released a new single. Austrian Death Machine was the side project of Tim Lambesis from As I Lay Dying, where he tries to sing like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they have a bunch of comedy theme songs. They had 2 whole albums of this. It's the kind of thing that's funny for like 10 minutes, and then you're done with it, but it goes on for another 30. They had a Christmas EP. There were songs on there about Turbo Man, the whole bit. The only reason this is surprising is because, for those who might not remember, Tim Lambesis, or As I Lay Dying, he was the guy who went to prison for hiring a hitman to kill his now estranged wife. And then while he was in prison, and oh, by the way, he was the head of As I Lay Dying, which was like a Christian metalcore band. The rest of the band was like, you know what? F that guy. He betrayed everything this band stands for. We're going to go our separate ways. And they formed a separate band called Woven War and put out an album that was decent. But they don't think they were making any money. And he got out of prison. And they said, you know what? Let's get back together again. So As I Lay Dying is now a thing again. And now he's putting out albums with his side project again.
Okay. Wow.
Go read his interview. Go read his prison interview with Alternative Press. It's fascinating.
Wow.
It's a man who doesn't quite understand why what he did was wrong.
That's so bizarre.
Gross.
Okay. All right. Plugs for us. We're still cooking on the we're still cooking on the virginity episode of the TGIF podcast.
God, but I listened to the whole thing. I listened to the whole thing front to back. And my God, you guys were right. The Vince McMahon sexual instructional video. I've probably rewatched just that part like 8 times.
Yeah,
it's a good bit.
That video exists.
Yeah,
and I've sent it around to a few people, and that everyone comes back and says the comment about "Have I told you about my dad?" Is the funniest thing I've heard in forever.
Greg saying, "I miss him." Got me real good. We listened to that in the hotel room in New York.
Have I told you about my dad?
Yeah.
During this sexual instructional video where 3 Vince McMahons talk to each other. One of the weirdest things we've ever done.
We went off the rails.
It's really funny. You could get that clip if you want it. If you don't want to listen to the 2 hours of virginity talk, which we are all experts on.
Yep. So we got another one cooking though. We got another episode.
We got another one in the works. B characters, and one of our breaking news here. One of our fans sent in another list.
Oh, wonderful.
That we should do about therapy, which I think could be really interesting.
That's a good one,
especially because the '90s really didn't treat therapy in a nice way.
Nope. They sure didn't.
A couple of good ones coming for you.
I'm interested in doing a Mr. Feeney episode. I think, or Mr. Feeney. Like we talked about with the B stars, I think that'd be an excellent one. He was a great
Feeney-centric character one.
And Kimmy, I always like Kimmy.
Kimmy. So. Who else is in there? Karen. And
Step by Step.
Is it Ridgefield from Dinosaurs? Is the other one?
No, Gorpley from Perfect
Oh,
Stranger.
Gorpley. It's a Gorpley
Right.
one. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Which, by the way, we'll talk about on our next podcast. Suzanne Summers passed. That's so horrible.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
sad.
That was very sad. What a amazing career in life.
She was amazing.
Amazing actress, fought for workers' rights, entrepreneur. Wow, she did a lot of stuff.
Beat cancer 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing.
Incredibly great actress in so many ways, and step by step. Forget about just all the other stuff. So
we'll talk a lot about her, I'm sure.
We are gonna give her a nice tribute in the next one. So those are the plugs. We'll be back next week with week 7. I can't believe we're this far into the season.
We're flying.
We're getting close to the Orton line. How many weeks away are we from the Orton line?
2.
2, yeah.
2 weeks away from the Orton line. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be a blockbuster. Blockbuster. I can't wait.
There's 6 guys above the line.
Sam Howell.
I'm fighting hard for. I'm not going to spoil it, but I think 9 or 8, and I think that's probably it for me.
Sam Howell above the Orton line. Sam Howell sets the Orton line. That's my guess. All right, we're out of here. We will see you next time. Peace out.
Bye.